Welcome back to problem number 16 and 17. So 16 has a right triangle here. They give us some perpendicular lines, so we can go ahead and say that's a right triangle. And they also tell us that we've got some parallel lines here. So there's parallel lines. And this is triangle A, B, C, and this is line D, E. We know that AC is 15, so this whole piece here is 15. We know that AB is 17, so this hypotenuse here is 17. And DE is 4. Part A asks to find line CB. So let's take a look. We're just looking at this big triangle here. We have 17, we have 15, so that would mean that BC is part of the 8, 15, 17 family. So we've got an 8 for part A. For part B, asking for AD, so that will probably take a little bit more work. We might even need to do a proportion here, so let's call this X for the minute. And we need this longer leg here. This is a right angle. So that, and we've got the base. We also have this long leg of AC here, and we have the 8. So X is to 15 as 4 is to 8, or something like that. You could rearrange these a little bit. So 8x equals, that'll be 60. X equals, let's see, 60 over 8. That will reduce to 8 and, let's see, what is it? 7.5. 7.5. So here, this is 7.5, which means we can find DC real quick. Do we need that? That's part E. Okay, I'm going to jump over to E then. So part E, we know this whole thing is 15 minus 7.5. That's an 8. 7.5. There we go. So 15 minus 7.5 is 7.5. So I know this is also 7.5. Those would be my children yelling. Enjoy. Okay, next we need to find AE. Part C is asking us to find AE. All right, well, we can go ahead and take a look at this triangle here. It's a right triangle. We have a 4, we have a 7.5, so let's go ahead and do a little Pythagorean theorem. 4 squared plus 7.5 squared equals AE squared. So 7.5 squared, let's see, this will be 16 plus, that's 14, 15 over 2, 50, so that's 225 over 4 equals AE squared. So let's see here, 16 becomes times 4. I'm going to turn this into an improper fraction. So that's 64 over 4 plus 225 over 4 equals AE squared. 64 and 225 is 289. 289 over 4 equals AE squared. So that means that AE is equal to 8.5. There's AE, 8.5. There's other ways you could have solved that, but that's just one option. You could have done, let's see, 17 is to 8 as AE is to 4. That's another way you could have done it. Might have been easier, actually. Alrighty, and then they also are asking you to find EB. So for part D, we know that AB is 17, so 17 minus 8.5. 17 minus 8.5 would be 8.5, right? Yeah. So there we go. Like I said, see, there's another way you could have done that you might have liked better, and that's fine. You guys remember you have lots of tools in your toolbox, so use them. All right, so that was 16. 17 is asking for distance. So let's just review distance formula right quick. Distance equals the square root of x1 minus x2 quantity squared plus y1 minus y2 quantity squared. And don't forget, this is just a fancier version of the Pythagorean theorem. So if you know the Pythagorean theorem, distance formula is no big deal. All right, 17 gives us the points 1, 11, and 4, 15. So we will just plug and chug. Here we go. x1 minus x2 quantity squared plus y1 minus y2 quantity squared. Make sure you're staying consistent with which point comes first. So we've got the square root of, that'll be negative 3 squared is 9, plus that'll be negative 4 squared is 16, equals the square root of 25. Love it. So the distance from A to B is 5 units. Well, that was easy peasy. And then 24, let's do 24 as well in this section. We've got one of these right triangles with an altitude in it again. These are getting old, aren't they? X, 8, 10. So it looks like we're using the large triangle and the medium triangle. So here we go. Large triangle, we have the hypotenuse is x plus 8. Here, I'll redraw it for you if you like. The hypotenuse for the large one is x plus 8. And the longer leg is 10. For the medium triangle, the hypotenuse there is 10, and the longer leg is 8. So we've got 10 is to 8 as, 10 is to 8 as x plus 8 is to 10. And we'll do a little cross multiplication. Oh, we're going to need to do some algebra 1 here by distributing. So 8x plus 64. And then we'll subtract the 64. So that'll give us, let's see, that's a 6. That's a 9, 36 equals 8x. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. 8 does not go into 36 evenly, but we can reduce our fraction here to, let's see, x will equal, I think it's 4.5. Great. And then B, they want us to find y. So 16b. We've got the same right triangle with the same altitude. Now we know that this is 6, this is y, this is 9. So that's telling me large triangle, small triangle. So large triangle here. We've got the hypotenuse is y plus 9, and the shorter leg is 6. Small triangle, the hypotenuse is 6, the shorter leg is y. So y plus 9 is to 6 as 6 is to y. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Y times y plus 9 equals 36. Distribute the y squared plus 9y equals 36. Now remember, quadratic term and a linear term is telling us set this guy equal to 0. So y squared plus 9y minus 36 equals 0. Factors of negative 36 that add to equal 9. How are we doing here? What have we got? Factors of negative 36 that add to equal 9. Let's see, we've got 6 and 6. Nope. 12 and 3. Oh, is that it? Yes, that's it. So 12 and 3. One of them needs to be negative though, right? So we've got y minus 12 and y plus 12. Y minus 3 equals 0. So negative 12, y equals negative 12, or y equals 3. And since we're dealing with distances, we will take 3. Great. Good work. I'll see you on number, oh, this wasn't 16, this was 24. What am I thinking? I'll see you on the next set.